Hi guys, I'm Jamie Lambert and this is Frank Della from New York 1, New York City, and we are doing the first ever interval show for the Olivier Awards, which is unbelievable, and we are joined right now by the CEO of Salt, Julian Bird. You're also the exec producer of today's Olivier Awards.
Congratulations,
and, congratulations, what an amazing time.
Great, thank you.
And we're joined by the amazing Tim Minchin. How are you, sir?
Yeah, good. I mean, what am I doing here? What did I do?
Groundhog Day.
Groundhog Day, yeah, that's it.
Just a stunning performance.
Are you excited that it's all going smoothly so far?
Well, you know, let's keep touching wood.
That's why
I would say the Oscars was going well until the last 2 minutes.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Let's get to the end and then we can celebrate.
What could possibly go wrong?
That's why I'm not drinking champagne, actually, because I don't know if you know the anecdote.
Yeah,
the producer of the Oscars thought it was all going well and he had a glass of champagne and then that happened.
Okay.
So I'm not jinxing it.
I'm also not drinking champagne.
You know, you're on to red wine. Because we've been watching the show, obviously, from the very beginning, and it is so good, Julian. Talk a little bit about some of the highlights for you thus far with the Oliviers, Tim.
No, I think, you know, there are many highlights, aren't there? I think the performances all round this year are the ones we've seen and the ones we haven't seen. You know, the girls with 270 people on stage. Amber Riley has just absolutely killed it. She got the whole of the Albert Hall stood up. I mean, it was one of those spine-tingling moments. And, you know, Tim performing arguably a song that actually people at home probably have never heard before, most of them, because Groundhog Day only had a very limited run here in London. And, you know, we're about to see Jesus Christ Superstar. For those who don't know, Jamie Parker's just won Best Actor, by the way, for Harry Potter as Best Actor. Breaking news.
Harry Potter's on
and which is fabulous. And, you know, still to come, you know, we've got School of Rock, Red Shoes, and you know, Broadway legend Audra McDonald. You know, so you know, it's kind of some performances. You know.
Tim, we were just talking a little bit off camera, and we now have Groundhog Day on Broadway.
Yeah.
Andy Carl is giving a masterclass in musical theater. Just talk about, you know, what was it like crafting the show and having someone like Andy, who's nominated this evening, as your principal character?
Well, Andy's incredible, and I think the Phil Connors role in Groundhog Day is we don't say that word. No, it's got to be one of the hardest things to do, because you have to really be able to sing with range, as you just heard me screaming, and with emotion and impeccable comedy timing, and he needs to dance. But apart from that, he has to be in one place, one moment. There's magic tricks, there's costume changes galore for the rest of the cast. His fitness, and he makes it all look effortless. And I can't wait to, you know, hopefully when it comes back to London, we'll have to cast another Phil Connors, and it's going to be a fantastic. Someone out there is going to be like in the gym
when it comes back to London.
Oh,
well,
is this an announcement? Is this an announcement?
Things would have to go pretty badly.
Don't say that.
But it could be like the Oscars. But no, look, I mean, I think the run in at the Old Vic went really well, and I think we'll have a crack at Western.
It really was. It was a sensational show. And you know, and so too few people saw it here. It was on for 8 weeks or something.
Yeah,
it was really
that's
short.
right.
Not forgotten, because a ton of nominations tonight. So congratulations on that.
Thanks. Thank you.
Brilliant.
Now, I'm interested you've been involved with so much over the past however long. You know, Matilda was absolutely amazing. I saw when it first came out. Do you have a standout moment over the last, say, 10 years? Just one standout moment. I know it's very difficult to ask someone who's done so much.
Do you know, weirdly, there's lots of stuff. Like, I opened my orchestra tour the night before Matilda opened in Stratford-upon-Avon. At the Birmingham Arena.
Yeah.
And then caught the train with my brother down to watch Matilda open in Stratford, and that I can't quite work out how I was okay. Like I sort of envy sort of 6 years ago my cool. I don't know, I think I was just sort of buzzing or something. That was amazing. But do you know what? In theatre, the weird thing is, for me, writing is for all writers, like, slightly harrowing, and there's so much pressure, and the most joyous moment was singing Judas, because I've wanted to sing Judas my whole life, well, since I was 10, and getting rung up by Lloyd Webber's man, say, do you want to do it, and then getting to do it at Wembley. In terms of pure joy, it doesn't get much better than doing this song we're about to hear.
That's amazing.
Tonight we're talking about, being inspired by the theater. Do you remember the first show for both of you that, you said to yourself, that's it, I'm in this, bring it on?
Well, I can tell you, my first theatre memory, I was 3, and my parents took me to this great British tradition, pantomime, at the Wimbledon Theatre with the late Cilla Black. And I can remember singing a song that, I don't know if you know, which is that I can't sing, but red and yellow and pink and green, orange, purple, blue, the colours of the rainbow, which to this day I loathe that song with a passion. And I can remember it stood in my memory, this thing, and I was terrified of the baddie and everything. And this kind of love of theatre ignited in me from then,
Yeah. How about you, Tim?
I don't know. My grandmother used to take me to see Gilbert and Sullivan, local Gilbert and Sullivan Society, and I think that had a huge impact for me, apart from anything that I try to fit as many words as I can into a lot of my songs, and that social satire and the wit of that. I think that had a big impact on me, but I grew up in Perth, West Australia. At no point did I go, I'm going to do that. I went, wouldn't it be amazing to be a sort of person who could do that? Oh, well. It took me a long, long time to realise I was allowed. I don't come from a, live your dreams background. I'm like, oh, that's amazing. Oh, I guess other people do that, So it took me till my late 20s really to crack it.
What's the difference in the musical theatre scene between Australia and the UK?
Well, Australia just doesn't have the population density to do long runs. Yeah. And there's amazing actors who their craft and everything is brilliant, and their honesty of performance is brilliant. Our cast doing Matilda in Australia is absolutely world class, without a doubt. But it's just not the work, so it's which helps because it's very, very competitive. So if you go to cast Matilda, you've got amazing people all sitting there ready to do it. But unfortunately, to travel between cities in Australia, you have to get on a plane, whereas London can. Every day people are catching trains to London to see shows, and so you can have proper long-running musicals.
Well, Tim, Julian, we just want to say thank you and congratulations, and enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
And Harry Potter has just won Best New Play, so there's an exclusive.
Oh, really? Amazing.
Thank you, guys.
There goes the Matilda record. See you guys.
Cheers.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure. Cheers. Nice to see you. Cheers. Thank you.
Bye. Harry Potter.
It's just ridiculous.
Are you surprised?
I'm not surprised. I haven't seen it yet because I can't get tickets.
Jamie, I'm going to help you out there. I loved this show. I came over in December to see it, and truly, almost 6 hours in the theater, my mind was blown. It was amazing.
I've heard it's from the acting to the script to the effects to everything about it is phenomenal.
It's brilliant.
And what is it about Harry Potter that just draws people in? Because the thing is, it's the books, it's the films, people have grown up with this. We've grown up with this,
Jamie, I have to cut you off because we have Lord Lloyd Webber here.
Hi,
hello, Andrew. How are you?
Just saying to Tim, I liked his script.
That's high compliments from you.
Do I need to hold anything?
Yes, please hold a microphone.
No,
Thank
I like
you.
what he said about Superstar. Like that bit.
Well, congratulations, Andrew. You are certainly used to this. How does it feel to be back at the Olivier Awards tonight?
Oh, it's always good fun. I mean, the thing is that kind of School of Rock's great fun for me. It's me a bit off duty, and I'm going to say the one thing I really should say is that no real rock star ever won anything. So it's great if we do anything tonight, but I'm not really kind of too worried.
I love School of Rock.
Now, obviously, you've got School of Rock, but you've also got Sunset Boulevard and Jesus Christ Superstar in the same category, so you've got a 50% chance of winning. But are you rooting for one over the other?
Well, do you know what? I say it's really extraordinary how all these things sort of come together, isn't it? I mean, everybody said, did you plan the 4 shows on Broadway? No, Sunset Boulevard came on at the English National this last year, went pretty well, and then it went to New York. I mean, I never thought that Superstar in the Park would be up against, Sunset. I don't know. What do I say?
Superstar's coming back, right?
Yeah, it's coming back for a few weeks. Yes, yeah. I mean, it's a great production, but I can't really control the old ones. Goodness, what's going on here?
We like this.
Speaking of,
and again, I didn't arrange this either.
Andrew, you're up to something. Andrew, okay, obviously you're the king of the West End. You are the king of Broadway with 4 musicals on the boards currently. As a young kid who was inspired by the great Richard Rodgers, I mean, did you ever see this in your future as a kid?
No, but I always remember when I first met Richard Rodgers. I mean, I was kind of shaking to meet my idol, and I was just when Superstar had come out, and it was at the Pier Hotel, I remember. And I remember I couldn't get him to tell me what all the things I wanted. All he wanted to ask me about was about Superstar, and did I think, therefore, that musicals from now on were going to be through sung? And I kept saying, no, it's horses for courses. I mean, it's a bit like saying, is everything going to be hip-hop after Hamilton? I mean, of course, Hamilton's a great musical, but it doesn't mean to say everything's going to be hip-hop. So I don't know, but I never really realised then that I'd have a career like this. I mean, it was fantastic to meet my idol, and, I sometimes wonder that if it had just stopped there, I'd have been happy.
Come on, Andrew.
For a man who is often heralded as the saviour of musical theatre, you've done so much in your career. What would you say was the one moment that you'll always just remember as the best?
I don't know. I think it might have been, funnily enough, the first time Sunset Boulevard opened on Broadway, where kind of everything came together then. And Glenn Close was marvellous that night. And the production, all after quite a bit of work and a few bumps and everything, it all happened, and I was very proud of that one. But the funny thing about musicals is that they're all like kids. You don't have a favourite one. There's something that you like about all of them, I guess. And I just always say to myself, I'm just so lucky that I'm doing the thing I love in life. If you're lucky enough to do the thing you love in life, it really doesn't matter what happens. It's the joy of working in it.
Andrew, Lin-Manuel Miranda is here tonight. I know you are one of his idols. He's bringing Hamilton to the West End very soon. What kind of interaction have you had with Lin?
Well, funny enough, I'm doing a Q&A with him in exactly 2 weeks today at the Other Palace in London. A little experimental theatre place, which is really designed to get this side of the pond going again with musicals. Because I think it hasn't escaped anybody, really, that Broadway's taken the lead at the moment. I mean, we've got 30 new shows this year, I think. And it's fantastic what's going on. We don't have the places where shows get, workshopped and refined. I think it's true that Hamilton was very nearly 6 years, wasn't it, in one thing or another?
Yeah.
We don't really have that tradition here, so what I'm trying to suggest is that here's a space where you don't have to worry about asking critics to it or getting it, where we hopefully can build an audience for people to work on the material.
And you just kicked off a new season at the Other Palace, brand new inaugural season.
But it's not quite where we want to go. We just kicked it off with some productions that in some senses are a little bit too ready finished for us. I really want it to be quite raw and about people feeling that they can try out new work. Whether it'll work, I don't know. I mean, it's not quite so much in our DNA here as it is in America.
Now, obviously here at the Olivier Awards tonight we are celebrating the miraculous and diverse world of London theatre. What is it about the West End of London that just keeps inspiring people and bringing them back?
Well, I think one of the things which is great about the West End is that it's a pretty nice place to be. And it's a lovely environment, but you mustn't forget that this season on Broadway, is absolutely flying.
Yeah.
It's extraordinary. It's alive. I've just been in New York myself, and I can't keep up with the shows there. So, I guess in my line of country, which is musicals, I have to say, Broadway has it at the moment. But the West End, of course, has always been traditionally much more the home of serious plays and serious work, and we're very fortunate that we have Sonia Friedman, who's a great friend of mine, and she's a fabulous producer who's actually done musicals too, of course. But with Harry Potter, have you noticed that the two big shows both start with H.A.?
Sonia's on a roll.
But there you go. We're in a very, very good time in the West End with a lot of very, very good work. We've got some. I think one of the other things is that I care about the theatres I own, which I'm lucky enough to have. Cameron McIntosh very much does. Nika Burns and Max Weisenhofer very much do. So you've got people who actually care about the buildings too. And we're constantly, certainly I am, and I know Cameron is, and Nika and Max are constantly putting as much as we possibly can back into the buildings. So it all makes the place pretty vibrant, I guess.
School of Rock is a real celebration of music and young folks in music. Talk about finding these talented kids to represent your show.
Well, it was much easier here in Britain than I feared it might be, because originally we were going to open this coming May, in about 4 weeks' time, and then an opportunity arose and everybody said, look, we're finding the kids much easier to cast than we thought, which was really delightful, because one of the things I care about most is music and education. And I mean, as you probably know, I'm very much involved with the initiatives in America with the Broadway Wing, you know. With Theatre Wing, yes. I'm very much obviously involved here with my foundation. And on both sides of the Atlantic, one of the great problems is that we're facing all these cuts to music and the arts in general in schools. And in one way, the thing that really pleases me about School of Rock is it's making the point that music empowers these kids. Music is the great empowering force, and it crosses all barriers, all genders, all races, creeds, everything you want to mention. And it is vital. It never has been more vital that we have it in our schools and colleges now.
Amazing. I do have to ask you, Andrew, I'm hearing that Joseph is coming back. Is that a rumor? Or?
Well, I think Joseph is 50 next year. And I know. So we're 50 next year, and I think we have to do something to celebrate it. I have a little thought in my mind, which is that it'd be really rather wonderful one night just to find a school or a college who could perform it themselves, just with kids. One night in the West End or Broadway, or both maybe. It'd just be a lovely thought. I mean, bring it right back to what it started with.
Fantastic.
Brilliant. Well, look, it's an honour to have you here.
No, it's great. Thank you.
So much.
I better get to my...
Congratulations, Andrew.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, wow. I mean, talk about theatre royalty. Thank you, Andrew.
Great.
What was your first Andrew Lloyd Webber show?
No, do you know? I'll tell you my first experience of Andrew Lloyd Webber. So I was running a project when I was 15, and I got into musicals quite like in my teens. And I was going to Africa to rebuild a school, and I think I sent a letter or an email to the really useful group.
Andrew's company.
Yeah, and I said, please, can you help me do this? I'm doing a project where I'm trying to sing for as many people as possible. Can I sing for Andrew? And if I get a celebrity person, they will obviously, they'll sponsor me more money. And he couldn't do it, but he sent me money instead. He funded it, partly. I mean, what a
He's the real deal.
Honestly,
we have some guests here. Kush, Jumbo, Russell Toby. We're live.
Yeah.
How are you?
Do you guys want some champagne?
Hi, Russell.
Hey, how are you?
Jamie?
Yeah, Jamie.
Hi, Jamie.
How are you?
These will be like drinks.
Oh
no, please drink.
Yeah, there's just not a lot in there. So take two, you know.
Oh, cheers. Can we cheers to the Olivier?
Cheers.
How many have you had?
Oh,
this is like...
Are you having
You guys,
each guest?
How many have you had?
So you had wow, there's a mic. Cheers.
cheers, guys. All right, you guys just presented the Best Actor Olivier Award.
Yeah.
How'd that go?
Went alright, didn't we? We did alright.
I thought it went excellent.
Well, Harry
We were
Potter
very
is,
charming.
We were.
popular tonight.
Yes.
It's doing alright. They're cleaning up.
It's doing a bit more than all right.
Ticket sales are going to go up, like they need that.
Yeah.
Completely sold out.
Is that even possible? I can't get
It's just going to run for another 15 years.
No, I only just got back in the country like a week ago, so but I will be seeing it. Thank you.
Thanks. I haven't seen it yet. I got back and I went straight into rehearsals for Angels in America.
Yeah.
Which I can't wait for.
That's
Thanks, Frank.
Tuesday, isn't it? And you're
Correct.
Nathan
Lane.
and
Andrew Garfield.
yeah, and
Denise Goff.
Yeah.
Yes.
Won Best Actress last year.
Correct.
That's
Well done. Good.
It is quite a
Very
lineup.
good. You know your stuff.
We do our research.
We have the numbers.
Well done.
How's it going? How's it going over here?
Good. We are teching now. It's going alright.
It's a long show to tech.
Kind of
Well,
is.
it's two shows,
It's
really.
two shows.
Yeah.
Correct, Kush.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Knowledge of the play.
Yeah. She knows her stuff.
Kush, what are you up to?
I just got back from shooting The Good Fight, and then I actually start rehearsals for the National to do Common with Anne-Marie Duff when Russell begins his show at the National.
What do you guys think of, obviously, the Olivier's has been in many different formats, sort of over the years. How do you feel about tonight? What do you think about it? For me, this is where it belongs. Like, this is, we're at the Royal Albert Hall. It's crazy. The carpet was mad.
Your suit says that. I think your suit says... This is a suit that says I'm staying here.
I'm going up in the world.
Yeah.
I think it's to get all the talent out there, more like opportunity to see it is very exciting.
I think the good thing about it is that it makes it accessible, right? There's a lot of people, like when I was a kid, this would have been I would have stayed up and watched this because I couldn't afford to go and see West End shows. I still can't really afford to go and see West End shows. So actually, it gives you that little, that little chink, that little like way of looking into the world, which I think is really nice.
This is the first time it's ever done a Facebook Live. It's the first time it's an interval show. So we are.
Anybody watching it? How many hits
have we got?
I think we've had about 300,000 so far.
Wow!
So it's pretty epic.
They're giving us major emojis right now. Like they're all monkeys like this.
Oh yeah, or turds.
Russell,
sorry.
Keep it clean. Encourage them.
Sorry, yes, smiley faces.
We've been talking all night to folks and asking them about the first Player musical they saw as a kid and what kind of turned them into, or what got them into the theater. For both of you, what would have that been?
My goodness. I saw a kids show, I think it was at the Unicorn, and it was, I don't know if you remember this, it was called Button Moon.
Yeah, Button Moon was like kids' TV show.
So Button Moon, and they did a live show of it.
Wow,
and
I couldn't get in. I couldn't get in.
It's a little bit like Harry Potter.
Show with a great theme.
And it had a Mr. Mop and a Mr. Spoon, but I could see the puppeteers underneath, and I remember thinking, I want to know what they're doing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's why you wanted to get into that area.
Not the whole reason,
Obviously
but we're talking about the only show. No, I'm not a puppeteer.
Okay, cool.
No. I won the Olivier for Lion King. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
No.
My first show was, I was 11 and our school went to see Sweeney Todd with Julie Mackenzie playing Mrs. Lovett at the National Theatre. I was 11.
Nice.
And remember being like, that's amazing. And when she does that song, what's the hurry? You gave me such a fright. When she comes out with a flood, I remember going like, oh my god, this is the best thing.
I have to play that
role. I have to play Mrs. Lovett. One day I'm going to be Mrs. Lovett.
A musical.
After I've done Angels America, that's what I'm going to do, Mrs. Lovett.
I actually went on a school trip to see you in History Boys.
On a school trip?
Yeah. At college.
That means I'm like 58 or
no,
something.
It doesn't.
Did you really?
Yeah.
And what did you think of it?
It's amazing, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you remember Jamie in it then? He's just the best actor.
We all fancied all the boys.
Who was your favourite though?
Jamie.
Jamie was.
Yeah.
I was a little rat then. I was like a little rough rat.
No, but we were all from South London, so we liked the rats.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was a little rat.
Come on. Cute boys, what more could you ask for?
Exactly.
Oh, that's nice.
I know.
Is it full middle school?
Yeah.
Wow.
I know. It inspired me to become a better actor. Do you know what I mean?
I did, or it did.
It was Russell, wasn't it?
It inspired me to improve.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, right. You don't want to be as bad as that. So I have to be better than that, yeah.
Well, guys, congratulations.
Are you kicking us off?
We're kicking you off. Yeah, we're being told to wrap.
Look, Denise Goff's on next.
Oh, okay.
Presented the award to Billy Piper. Yerma also won Best Revival.
You guys,
she's pretty important.
You guys think? That's cool.
She's there getting ready now.
There she is.
Goffers.
Whenever you're ready, Denise, it's fine. Don't worry, no, we can hold the fort. We're holding the fort. We're fort holders. No, it's
Same
fine.
here.
Hello.
You're looking good.
I can't wait till you come to Brooklyn. You're next door to my house. Come for a cup of tea.
Denise, come sit in. Come sit in.
Yeah. Like, my address is, or my phone number is.
They're on Facebook going, stay away. Over my hips. My mic, was that meant to be plugged in?
It's wireless. Thank you, Kush. Good to see you as always.
Thank you so much.
Bye, Russell. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, Russell. Good to see you. Thank you.
This is the best thing. I think we should do this every year.
I know. It's epic. We're getting notes. We're getting notes.
That would be great. Yeah.
Denise, hi. How are you? How are you? Good to see you. Good to see you.
How are you? You look beautiful.
You look gorgeous. I love the dress.
Fabulous.
Are you having fun?
You're connected to Jim. That's how I know.
Jim Glaub.
Hi, Jim Glaub.
He's just fabulous.
Probably his best. He's ours. We sent him over to you.
Yeah, I know. Thank
And now he's here to stay.
Yeah, we love Jim.
Now, you just presented the award for Best Actress
Oh, I did.
to Billy Piper, and you took that home last year.
I did.
How do you think the nominees were feeling this year?
Oh, I could tell. I mean, it's very overwhelming. I don't know, but there was something about it. I don't know. I think it's very overwhelming and it's really emotional. Because even if you think, I did a really good job, I worked really hard and everything, you still have to stand up in front of loads of people with your adrenal glands doing that. So, Yeah, I bet. I'm hoping that all the other nominees saw Billy's performance, so they know just what she did.
She was,
Yeah, because it kind of, I love all the women in the category, but something happened with Billy's performance that was, I don't know, for me was unlike anything I've ever seen.
Obviously, Yerma is a story of a woman who is basically torn apart because she can't have a child, and Billy's a young mum.
Yeah.
That is not an easy thing to have done.
No, and she, oh God, I remember going to see it and thinking, oh, thank God she's there doing that, because there's something so primal about it that I think a lot of actresses can shy away from, and actors. I know that's not PC to divide us up like that, but it can be quite frightening to be really ugly in terms of like where you're prepared to go emotionally on stage, and actually by going there it's so beautiful, and that's what I felt. I mean, Ruth Wilson always does that for me too. I mean, I'm completely obsessed with her as well. And I saw Cherry and she was fabulous. I didn't see Glenda, but I'm a huge fan. But Billy did something for women, for me.
Now, Denise, speaking of winning, are you someone who prepares your speech, or do you just wing it?
Well, last year I prepared because I really wanted to say something about the lack of representation of non-white women in the category. So I prepared something, but I didn't. You kind of, like tonight, even presenting, we were backstage like practicing what we were going to say, but then you get out there and you kind of try and be as much of yourself as possible too. And like Billy, what Billy said, like it just felt like she really spoke from her heart, and I think that's the key to all of this. And what Noma just did, I mean, yeah, that was a great speech. But I think if you get really nervous, it's good to prepare.
It's the adrenaline, isn't it?
Yeah,
but,
of course. And I swear a lot. I mean, I have done so well not to swear yet.
We've not sworn either, have we?
Not sworn
It's
either.
amazing. You're doing
was pretty
so
hectic, but we kept
well.
it together.
The champagne may kick in soon.
We're hammered,
let's see
and
what
we
happens.
have not sworn yet.
You're in previews on Tuesday
Yes, I am.
for Angels in America. You with Russell, you with Nathan Lane.
With everyone, with basically every actor in the world.
Garfield.
Yeah.
How is it? Do you have any kind of cool backstage stories for us? Anything amazing happened?
Oh my God, yeah. Well, we just got on the stage on Friday, so there's a lot of ninjas on the stage who you can't see when it goes dark. You can't see them, so that's really interesting. I've grabbed quite a few crotches by accident.
Oh yes, of course.
But yeah, I can't say much more than that. It's kind of a sacred thing that Marianne has created. But what I will say is I'm seeing some of the most, beautiful performances. It's a real privilege to be in that room.
Nathan Lane is obviously a.
Oh my God. Nathan Lane is just like Broadway.
He can do no wrong.
No wrong.
Well, he does not. I mean, he does no wrong with Roy Cohn. I mean, I was sad that Roy Cohn was dying. Am I allowed to give it away that Roy Cohn dies?
I mean,
everybody knows that, right?
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoiler, but it's like historical stuff. He did die.
Look it up.
Yeah.
Marianne Elliott, who you mentioned, is at the helm of this production. She's known for doing spectacular work like War Horse, Curious Incident, which is still going strong on both sides of the pond, touring the U.S. Does she have a specific concept for this particular production of Angels?
Well, I will say that she works harder than any person I've ever worked with in my entire life. She also runs a room with real compassion and beauty. But in terms of, you'll have to wait and see it. I can't really, but it's spectacular. But I think the thing to remember, though, is we're dealing with Tony Kushner here. So
And Tony's been in the room,
Tony's been in the room, and he's around now at the moment. And of course, when we heard he was coming back to see her run, you think, oh God, I forgot about him. And you just hope that you're doing justice to, because it's a play that is an homage to a very specific thing, to a lot of, gay men died secret deaths, and he wrote a play to highlight that, to give voice to that. And I can't really stress enough for me how important it is that this play is on right now, like that it's because I think a lot of younger gay men too don't really see whose shoulders they're standing on. I mean, it was an epidemic of epic proportions that was then ignored by a government, by a world,
Like people who say we don't need pride anymore. Like,
you need pride.
It drives me nuts.
No, you need pride, because I watched this documentary called We Were Here, and those guys marched, because I was feeling really depressed about going on a women's march, thinking it's not going to do anything. That guy is already in the White House. And then I watched that documentary, and that community marched and marched and marched and marched, and they got things changed and they made things happen. That, you know, I think sometimes it can all be kind of written off as being just one big flamboyant gay affair, but it was deeply, deeply political. And yeah, I'm so proud that I get to be part of a production that is saying that, you know. It's really something. Yeah, it's not difficult to talk about a play like that, because, you know, you just think, oh my God, how lucky am I that I get to be any part of it at all. And when you see it, yeah, I think it's going to be quite a thing. Yeah, I think it's going to be that play.
It's an event.
Yeah,
it truly is an event.
It is, yeah. Hope we don't screw it up.
You will.
Oh God.
You will.
Yeah, so there we go. That's...
Well, look, thank you so much for talking to us. It's really nice to have you
lot,
here.
right?
Yeah.
Were you prepared for that?
You're very good.
That was great. Give me the words.
Had so much fun tonight.
Oh,
Good to see
thank you. Great to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Enjoy
so
the rest
much.
of your night.
I will. See you soon.
See you. Have a great night.
See you at the theater.
Oh, yeah.
Harry Potter, Angels in
I've got
America.
to say, you know, she's fabulous, isn't she? And there's just something
Beautiful.
about the words that she just said that were really poignant, and she just speaks so well.
Yeah.
We must go see that. We have got to go see that.
Jamie, I'm coming back here. You're going to have to go back to New York to do my show.
We're going to go out.
But I'm coming back, and we're going to go see Angels in America together. That is a deal.
I mean, do you know what's really exciting?
Tell me.
We've just found out in our imaginary earpieces who won the hashtag battle.
Who won, Jamie?
Now,
Who won?
I know. The hashtag battle has been raging all evening. It was between the 4 nominees for the Mastercard Award for Best New Musical.
That's right.
And this is not the actual result. That happens a bit later on today. But your choice...
It's like the People's Choice Awards.
The People's Choice, by a clear mile, is the girls. Are you surprised?
I'm not surprised. I actually saw the show the other night.
Me too.
And the
Oh, my
reception
goodness.
from the audience was so great.
I don't think I've
I was in
ever
tears.
cried and then laughed in succession so many times in one show. I mean, it was beyond fantastic. It really was beyond fantastic. And I just was moved. I was moved, and I thought it was a wonderful representation of Yorkshire. I think I've been to Yorkshire. Half my family from Yorkshire.
I've never been to Yorkshire.
My mom's from Yorkshire. It was a beautiful representation of that. It was a lovely representation of life and death and mortality and strength and community. I just thought it was wonderful.
And female power.
And female power. And do you know what? I am so proud of every single one of those 6 women, because they were all up together for Best Actress.
Yeah.
And they were just, they were sublime.
Yeah. I took my mom to see it on Friday night, and every time I glanced over at her, she had tears in her eyes. And, it was a beautiful musical.
That's the right word. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. Now, we have the Harry Potter cast on their way to chat to us. They're about 2 minutes away.
The multi-award-winning Harry Potter cast.
I mean, it's not a surprise. I mean, just look at how well it's done in the West End. It's just done so well. They're amazing.
Now, we were chatting. You haven't seen Harry Potter yet.
I haven't, and I'm desperate. I'm so desperate. But I did talk to Anthony Boyle.
He won for supporting actor.
Exactly. And he was like the most chilled out person that I talked to on the red carpet. So chilled out, so cool. And I don't know if he thought he was going to win. I'm not sure. But
What did he say?
He was just so chilled out. He was like, yeah, I mean, if I win, I win. If I don't win, I win. But I'm really happy to be here. It's his first show.
Wow.
He left drama school and went straight into this. I mean, that is ridiculous.
Talk about a juggernaut of a show to take on. I mean, again, we were just chatting about an event, Angels in America.
Sure.
Harry Potter is very much of that spirit. 2 parts. It's a full day if you go on the Saturday or Sunday.
That is intense.
It is intense, and especially
I mean, you've seen it. So as an audience member, how was it going from one act to another?
To be honest with you, believe the hype. Believe the hype. I sat on the edge of my seat at the end of the first part and then went right into the second part, wanting more, went to dinner, and so anxious to get back to the theater because I wanted more.
Now that's amazing, because I didn't necessarily have that, but I just that is so cool. That is so cool, and I believe I believe we have some guests here.
Who do we have?
Who do we have?
Come on.
Come on in,
gentlemen.
Hello. Speaking of Harry Potter,
When are you that, sir?
Oh, thanks very much.
Hello, sir. Congratulations.
Hey, how are you?
When are you that?
Congratulations.
Yes.
Are you guys doing champagne shots or something?
Please take one. Take one.
You
Yes.
deserve it. You deserve it.
Which one's my name?
How are you guys doing?
Cheers.
Cheers. Congratulations.
Sadly, I don't drink.
Okay,
cheers.
In my headpiece. There you go.
Cheers.
So you guys are sweeping tonight. I mean, this is epic. How are you feeling?
It's his fault, he started it.
I have a feeling I'm going to look like a madman on telly because I'm sitting right on the end, and so everyone's coming past me, and I'm just going like a monkey as they all come by. Hugely surprised and hugely delighted and so excited.
It's great. It's so great to have it kind of ratified and legitimised by your peers in the industry. You know, we know I mean, Jack's been there in the process for a lot longer than I have, but I certainly know how much everybody brought the best possible work that they could bring. There's been so much a sort of sustained level of bringing your best possible work with the best working ethos as well. With this world-class team, and everybody just wanting it to be as good as it possibly can be for the sake of all of those countless millions of people for whom it means everything. And we know what we think of each other's work, and we know what the atmosphere's like in the room and how the audience are taking it and all of that. But to have it critically received the way it's been, to have it legitimised by our peers here at the Oliviers is just terrific. I couldn't be more stoked for the team as a whole.
You have nailed it.
Nailed it.
What I love about this play, I saw it in December, and it plays like a rock concert. It is a play, but it plays like a musical. I mean, the energy that must be shooting off from the audience to the stage. I mean, what's that like for you?
Well, do you know what? I mean, the early previews were
Ludicrous.
I'm going to say unwieldy because, like, internally as an actor, you're like that never happens. And part of you is going, this is a really long play. They're going to be closed. And you know, as we sort of settled into the run, it gradually there is a sort of a feeling of anticipation, an event like a rock concert, but it very quickly settles into being. Yes, a spectacle and something magical, but what really, really matters to the audience, who are in their seats at 1:15 with nothing else in mind but giving the world presented on the stage their full and undivided imagination, what really matters to them is the internal lives of these characters that Jack has crafted with John and Joe supremely, and has left literally 7 volumes worth of stuff unsaid. For us to speak and play with in subtext. It's complex and it's difficult, and they don't want to get in the way of that by, you know, whooping and cheering and all of that. The gasps are sort of involuntary, and it's as much for the spectacle. It's because of this release of information and the stuff that these people are saying to each other and what happens to them, and they care so much about them, and that's. It stops being a rock concert and becomes a play. It's an actual play. You know.
Have, ever since the very first book, been probably the most intense, passionate, unbelievably dedicated fandom in the world.
Yeah.
And you guys have been thrown into this. I mean, were you expecting it to be this crazy? I mean, because people are mad about this.
I'm a Potterhead, a very proud Potterhead. I've been a Potterhead from the very start. Yes, no, I was aware of how crazy it would be, and I was aware of the responsibility of not letting them feel let down.
Yeah.
When I was writing alone in my little study, and you know what I mean, like, you know, and just you know, actually it was a library. I wrote most of it in a library in Islington. Yeah, absolutely terrifying. But
did you put a rope around yourself and a little sign saying restricted section?
No, I was always petrified that someone was going to read over my shoulder what I was writing, but no one ever did. But yeah, I was just in Central Islington Library. It was me, a bunch of homeless people, and some students, you know, and that's where most of this play was written.
That's where the magic happened. As a Potterhead, you know, was it a dream come true getting to work with JK to craft the story?
Oh my word, yes. You know, like, you know, and
she's been amazing, isn't she?
the fact that I've been able to ask her questions about what happened when and what it meant, you know, like, you know, and all that stuff, you know, is the most exciting thing. And that was that was sort of one of the main tasks, actually, to interrogate, make sure you understand absolutely everything she's done, do a PhD in Harry Potter, and then try and write a play on the basis of everything you've learned.
One thing that's amazing about her is that she's always been very involved.
Yes.
With the film, she was involved. Has she been incredibly involved with this?
Yeah.
And has she seen it loads of times?
Yeah.
Well, what I want to say is, off the back of everything that you just said, and everything that you just said, is that the potential out of that context for really tight control is immense. You know, it could have been that she really, you know, didn't want to kind of let go of it. And I've been astonished at how far that is from the truth. She's like genuinely collaborative, amazingly generous,
and she's been ridiculously supportive to me.
Yeah.
She's had my back all the time.
I can only imagine. I mean,
and being genuinely lovely to me.
From tonight, I mean, she was right. She was right to do so.
You all were right. You all were right.
They're a good bunch.
I'm pleased we haven't let her down.
Absolutely not. I mean, you know, I actually haven't seen it yet. I just can't get.
He can't get a ticket.
I'm desperate. Yeah, Frank's going to sort it out. But I can't wait to go and see it. I mean, all I've heard from everyone who's seen it is that it's the best thing they've ever seen.
It truly
We'll
is.
sneak you in, but you have to come dressed as an owl. That's the only thing.
Yeah, I'll do it.
And we can't. I have to say, as an American, we can't wait to get you to New York. We can't wait to get it to Broadway.
Well, that's you know, we've got to finish the run here, and they're sorting out the theatre there and everything. So that's all in progress.
Are we going to see you in here?
We'll all be revealed in the perfect fullness of time.
I love it.
Fair enough.
Well, guys, look. I mean, this is phenomenal. You guys are sweeping tonight. Quite deservedly so. So congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very, very much.
Thanks for coming here. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I
Brilliant
love
job.
I love you a lot.
Thank you. I do too. I got dressed in this and I was very happy. I think they said he's the flamboyant one. He can be in the blue. That's fine. Thanks, guys. Congrats.
Thank you, guys. Have a great night. Wow. With Harry Potter himself.
Well, I mean, that was epic, wasn't it? And I just think that what we said is pretty much right, that people do not know the strength of that fandom. And I think tonight is just, what shows is that it's not just about the fandom, it's about how good the work has been.
It's so true. It's so true. And, you know, at the end of the day, yes, it's about Harry Potter, but it's also a father-son story. And that translates to everything and everyone. Yeah.
Fabulous. I'll be going. But anyway, we have had the best time today, haven't we?
Jamie, we've had the best time.
It's been brilliant. We did the Red Carpet live show, we've done the first ever interval show, and actually you can catch the entire Olivier Awards Tuesday at 8 PM on ITV, which is going to be amazing. I mean, we have heard some storming performances.
Just you wait.
I mean, unbelievable. So guys, tune in. This is myself, Jamie Lambert. This is Frank Dillella.
Frank Dillella here.
We have just had the best day, and we're so pleased that you guys could watch with us.
Have a great night.
Welcome back to